very first followers. And then when you followed me and I, followed back, I was like, this dude is cool. Like,
if they say talk to your manager, you just say, you know what, talk to the hand. You don't need to be on my podcast. But yeah, dude. Yeah, you do a great job.
Thank you. I always get a kick out of talking with you on Patreon. You have a really good, view on it.
That wasn't planned.
You know what? But I like this Canadian.
Well,
like this one.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Greetings, everybody. Happy Sunday evening. Good evening, Ed. Second, actually, it looks like. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Cass. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Edward. Let's get this chat started. All right, so this is a recap. Oh, not really a recap. I guess this is just a review of today's episode for Sunday. And to be honest with you, I'm underwhelmed. And in general, I think I always expect the Sunday episodes to be the least interesting, especially since becoming a live feeder, because they do this HOH competition on Thursday night. And then we already know the results if you watch the live feeds. And so we're like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're watching something that happened 4 days ago. The nominations happened on Friday. So we're watching something from 3 days ago. So there's been so many conversations and things that have happened since then. So I guess as somebody who doesn't watch the live feeds, the Sunday episode could be interesting because you're finding out who the HOH is and you're finding out who got nominated. But as somebody who watches the feeds, it's not as interesting. However, the reason why I was hoping to get something out of this episode is because of the fact that they took so much off of the feeds. So people were like, oh, maybe they're holding whatever content, conversations, and whatever was happening on the feeds. They're going to edit it up and make it really a compact version of all the stuff that they took away from us being able to watch. Nope, I did not gain a thing from what I saw today, which I'm going to get into in a minute. So we have the HOH comp. Somebody said on X that the HOH comp was America's Funniest Home Videos. I thought that was pretty funny because it is pretty accurate. I think that Jag and Matt broke the game last season to where they were like, we've got to do all of these neutral, anybody can win type of competitions. And I don't want everything to be physical. Don't get me wrong. I don't want everything to be just based on athleticism, but I hope that we get some more interesting competitions, especially considering that we are going to have multiple competitions. Like we're going to have the HOH, the veto, the power veto, and the AI arena. Like at least one of them has to be interesting because, I mean, yeah, America's Funniest Home Videos was kind of funny, but I would rather see them roll some dice. Whoever gets the highest number wins HOH at that point, or pick a number out of the hat. Like that felt like a waste of however long that was, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of my time. It was really boring. So on the second question, more than half of them go out on the second question. There's only 5-6 of them left after that. I was like, wow, this is crazy. On the true or false question. Cedric said he threw his question, and then after that, it was just a couple more, 2-3 more, and then Chelsea ends up winning. Again, it was pretty underwhelming. Hi, D. I forgot to say, I saw your name here. I didn't say hi. So it shows us some of this conversation in the house. Funny thing is, the episodes seem to be showing us all the people that we don't really see speaking too much on the feeds. Like if we don't see them on the feeds, we're sure to see them in the episode, which is kind of weird to me because I know you can't show everything, but if I was exclusively watching the produced show and I was not watching the feeds at all, even though there hasn't been too much feeds to see, it's like a whole different show. Like Chelsea is kind of a mainish character on the show. T-Core, we barely see her on the feeds, but T-Core is all over the show, you know? So it's kind of interesting how they're doing that. But anyways, they were showing Cam, Chelsea, and Cedric speaking and forming this core. So the interesting thing about the core that I guess I didn't know, maybe other people knew, but I didn't particularly know the fact that Cam was basically the central figure that started the core, which was Cedric and Chelsea. So Cedric and Chelsea had already formed this bond week 1, and Cam was on the outside. Even though he was cool with both of them, he was on the outside of their like loose alliance. They're not really, I don't think they had a final 2 that I know of, but they were just really cool and they trusted each other. So Cam, they said, went to each of them individually, had a conversation, and was like, I think that the 3 of us would be good in an alliance together. So they agreed. They called themselves the core, which we already knew. And then they were like, we need some padding, we need some insulation, because it can't just be the 3 of us, which is smart. I mean, that's smart Big Brother gameplay. So they recruited Quinn and Brooklyn. Brooklyn was actually smart in this because you always know if there is like I would say if there's 4 people in the alliance minimum before they get to you and you're number 5 and they say we have at least like 4 people, it usually means that you're just a number. I mean, there are cases obviously where you're the last person approached in the alliance and you are an important part of the alliance and you might not be the first person out. However, it's less likely, and you always have to think like, why was I the last person that they asked? So that was a valid thing by Brooklyn to be like, don't say no to the alliance, but at the same time know that I was the very last person asked, so they probably needed me for a number. So in that case for Brooklyn, it's like they're going to protect me up to a point, but she's aware of that. She seems to be self-aware that they will protect me to a point, but I also have to be around the house doing other things. Oh, we found out the most amazing thing ever, which is that the house wants to get out Lisa because she's annoying. Led by Tucker, finding her annoying. I mean, I could look at the footage and see her being kind of annoying, but it's annoying that that's even a reason that's even a reason to get somebody out of the house is because they're annoying. Like that's mind-blowing for me a little bit. And a staple of these more recent seasons because they're not gameplay heavy. Let's see. I only have 1 or 2 more things. Oh, I did want to make sure to mention this conversation with Chemo and Chelsea, which was really the only thing that I found to be like meaningful from this particular episode. Their conversation that they were having, where Chelsea said that her brother had come out 2 years ago, and she was talking about how her dad accepted him, the family accepted him. They were talking about their religions, and Chemo was saying that he didn't get a chance to come out to his dad before he passed. So I was glad that they actually showed something meaningful, because I have found like when I started watching this show in particular, yeah, I liked fights and the drama and the strategy and the gameplay and stuff, but there were also moments. There were actually moments where there were serious conversations and there were real life things that they share with each other that actually made me feel connected to the people in the house. And this house has not really given me too much of that. as of yet, but I enjoyed that conversation that they had. All right. Having a good memory is like exactly. That's so true. That's actually true. It's like one asset that you have. Either you have it or you don't. Yeah, you can't not have a good memory and then suddenly have a good memory. It was like that for Izzy last year. She was all over the feeds and barely in the episodes in the beginning. I believe the competitiveness got to who's Christy? Chelsea, you mean? Because she did say she didn't know if she wanted to win it. Okay, yeah. So I think you mean Chelsea. I thought the actual HOH comp was underwhelming as well. I honestly thought that Quinn was planning on doing an alliance with Leah. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention the whole thing with Leah where they showed Leah and Mackenzie crying and telling each other like, we got to get Angela out of here. We got to do this for Matt. I said this already, but even though they're not currently at the top of the chopping block, they are next, because it's like it seems like they want Angela out, they want Lisa out. Like this is not a pawn week. This is a week where any of those three sitting there, they're fine with them going. And I feel like MJ and Lisa are right. Not MJ and Lisa. Lisa's on the block. I feel like Leah and Mackenzie. That's what I was trying to say. I feel like Leah and Mackenzie are like the next tier, because this seems to be like a let's go for the easy vote type of season. Even though the first one wasn't unanimous, they're now like, oh, you three did not vote this way that the rest of us voted, so you can't be trusted. So now you got to go next. Like, that seems to be the way it is. I know if they had a great memory, if they're throwing it. Yeah, I think she's playing a pretty good game. I don't even enjoy watching this whole thing. Like, when I'm thinking back to season 24, it was funny watching Turner and Jasmine stuff with the muffins. Watching Tucker and Lisa talk about cooking is just irritating. Like, as annoyed as he says he is, I'm annoyed at the whole conversation and how much of the episode is taking. And I don't like his hat. Okay, maybe I'm a hater, but I mean, I have a hat. I have bucket hats. Maybe just the combination of the facial expressions that he makes and the way he stands. Thanks again, D, for that Brooklyn trade. E glitter. I'm like, dang, this ain't high school. Could have fooled me. More annoying than Angela. It's usually a good reason in the first couple of weeks. Annoying is easy to get out. Yeah. I almost teared up watching Chemo and Chelsea convo about living with a family about faith. That actually made me tear up. I watched the full convo on it was on the feeds. Okay, I didn't see it before. No glitter on my food. Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't even care if it's edible glitter. Don't touch my food with the glitter. If they want Angela out, let them win HOH and get her out. MJ will be a HOH jumper. What is it? Oh, you mean as in she's going to buddy up with whoever becomes HOH. I'm manifesting an Angela eviction. A big hater. Mackenzie definitely broke a big BB rule. Oh, yeah. And then also, to that point, it seemed that Quinn had not told anybody about his power. And then he told Angela. So now it's not a power. Like, a power becomes less of a power the more people who know about it. And I don't know who all knows about Quinn's power, but yeah. That was not his brightest move either. So both of them have now revealed the power. So now the powers are kind of out in the open in a way. He had a good convo with Lisa right before the episode. Well, I could tell you should have watched my channel before this year, because then you would know that a lot of people here, including myself, have watched old BB. We know about Dr. Will, Rachel Riley. You know, there's a lot of people. Evil Dick. You don't have to be a new fan to not like Angela. I hate to break that to you. I understand what Chelsea did with the nominations, because honestly, I would not. Yeah, I mean, I understand what she did with the nominations too. Like, I'm not saying. Honestly, I'm not really even saying that I would have done anything differently, because you have to play the players and not the game. And a staple of modern day Big Brother is that if you do something that is outside of what's in the best interest of the group, like, I feel like you would just die on an island in modern day Big Brother trying to play like a Dan Giesling game, for an example. You just can't do that. You know, like, I don't even blame the players necessarily for that. It's just a whole culture shift of the entire show. It's not that Angela is the most. Yeah, I mean, people always love to give extremes. Nobody is saying that she's the most offensive player ever. I mean, I shouldn't say nobody is saying that. I should just say myself. I'm not saying that, and nobody on this chat has said that. So I don't know. Maybe that's a response to what you've seen online elsewhere. But I don't think anyone has said that on my channel. It's just like plant on the show that has been on multiple previous shows. Overly dramatic, kind of annoying. That's about it. I'm not watching my TV like, oh, she's the worst person who I've ever seen on TV. She needs to go, but not because of what happened with Matt. Exactly. Like the Matt beef. How entertaining has she been to you, honestly, since Matt left the house? Like, everybody was like, oh, Angela's feeding. At least Tucker has kept himself relevant since the time that Matt hasn't been in the house. Because I didn't know if Tucker was going to be interesting either, but Tucker has kept himself relevant. Angela has just been blah since he has not been in there. Why did Chelsea feel compelled to win HOH? Isn't she safe with either T-Core or Leah winning? Did she say that she felt compelled? Because I thought that she said that she was she didn't want to ruffle feathers this early. I know that Leah wanted to win really badly, and she was crying about not winning. I was like, wow, does she think that her position is unsafe in the house or what? I didn't understand why she was so emotional about not winning the second HOH. Didn't make sense. I agree, because honestly, she didn't even need it right now. Food luxury comps, they should just have PBJ and slop. Well, things change, unfortunately, and fortunately, I guess, because I'll be honest, this is not the topic that I'm really on, but there's not enough that's interesting going on for me to not shift a little bit, if you know, based on the comment that you're putting in there. I don't think it's being soft to not like to be spoken to, bullied, and insulted based on looks, gender, race, sexuality, all of that. Because guess what? That's not a game. The game is to win Big Brother. They put games in place for HOH competitions, power vetoes, now AI arenas. They compete, and then it's also a game, a social game, a social experiment where you are working on gaining influence from your other fellow house guests. I don't think that you should just go in the game and act like animals, like, oh, let's be tough and like insult each other's upbringings and race, and like, yeah, that makes you tough. I don't feel like that. I feel like there should be standards, just like you have standards at your job. Like, what if you went into your job and people just started tearing you up, calling you all kinds of names, saying things about your background or your family? Are you going to say, it's just a job, I'm just here for money, so because I'm here for money, I just got to be tough and withstand whatever they say to me? No. Like, I grew up in an era, even though I grew up in an era where people could say anything to me. I said this before on my earlier live. They could say whatever they want to me in school. And in my early days of work, when I just started working, I had people say wild things to me at work before. And there was nothing that was done for those things. So I just had to be able to take those things and keep it moving. Now, if people tried to do and say those same things to me today, I would not tolerate it, nor would my work environment. So just because something was done before does not mean that it's right. It just means that things were not regulated. That's the honest truth about Big Brother. That's the truth about The Challenge. That's the truth about certain other shows. Like, dude brought a knife into a Big Brother season and wanted to use it on somebody. Should that be allowed now? Like, I don't understand. Not everything is a game. What if they have crazy eyes? Is it okay then? What is crazy eyes? What if you have crazy eyes? He has a thyroid issue, Ed. Like, it's people just think that this should be the wild, wild west where you could just go in there and it's like, oh, well, if you think this is bad, you should go back and watch this thing that happened in season 5. Like, I mean, granted, I didn't watch those seasons while they were active, but I have gone back and watched a lot of those seasons. I can go pull up YouTube clips right now. And if I saw them, oh, you put a request for the Facebook group? I'll accept the request as soon as I get on Facebook. Appreciate that, Edward. And it was way over exaggerated. I mean, people have different things about them. People have different features, but it's just like, it was stupid. This lady is in her 50s insulting somebody in a type of way that I would talk to somebody when I was 6 in school on the playground or something. Like, that's entertainment to you? Is it that's my question to you. Was that entertaining to you? Like, you go through your life, you do whatever you do. I don't know if you work, I don't know if you don't work. You sit down to watch the feeds or to watch the show or whatever you're doing, and you're like, ha, that was what I wanted to see to unwind. Like, that was so clever and it was so amazing. Like, it wasn't even funny to me. It was kind of weird. I found it to be kind of weird. Like the second oldest person in the house acting like a kid on the playground. And then all these people in their 20s and 30s being like, looking at her like, man, grow up. Okay, I'm glad you were a professional worker all your life. It didn't really answer my question, but thanks for that information. I loved Paul's gameplay. Should have won that season. Yeah, I miss Paul. When I met Paul at the BB party, I was surprised to see him there because he wasn't on any flyer, and I've never seen him at any of these things. But friendship, I was like, when I was leaving him, I was like, friendship, and he laughed. Yeah, that's the whole thing too. It's not even like it was some spur of the moment. Like when I think back to some of the classic Big Brother arguments where people hit each other with low blows, they were usually back and forth. And I'm for a dramatic back and forth, believe it or not. Like somebody comes for you and then you come for them and you're going back and forth. You hit them with the low blow. I mean, who can say that they haven't done that in real life? You know what I mean? Even me, who I'm pretty neutralish on this channel, but in real life, somebody comes and attacks me with something, I will say something back. And I love the back and forth in the fights, but this was just weird. Like he made a game statement to her, like, I don't know if it would be the best move for you to put me on the block because I feel like my position in the house, the votes that I potentially would get, and then I have a good chance of winning an HOH. You know, who's to say that I wouldn't come for you? I wouldn't survive the block and come for you. That was his play. It was an aggressive play, but she said it was trauma. She said this was a trauma for her. I'm like, trauma? I mean, I work in a field of trauma. So that word was, I almost want to say it was a trigger word for me to even hear her using that for talking about Big Brother gameplay. I think Big Brother should be equipped with a mental, well, they kind of have one, but it seems more like it's CYA, where it's just like a lot of paperwork that they have you sign and not really a good enough test to see how you would potentially handle the stressors of the house. But that's a hard one. It's a hard one. Reminded me of girls in high school like that. Big Ugg. I have always watched your podcast, and I thought I remembered your name, so that's why I'm surprised you're saying what you're saying tonight. That's how she tried to make it out to be, though, that he was the bad guy. That's the whole thing. Angela was wrong, but let it go. I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe I should just move on from that. I love Paul as well. Was disappointed. Paul got robbed, especially season 2, the second season that he did against Josh. I will forever say that. I told him that when I saw him. I was like, see, the first season might be a little on the debatable side. The second season was not. And he lost by 1 vote. So, and the jury, based on the jury questions, was extremely bitter. I don't think she should be kicked out or anything, but it's not a bad idea if she goes either. And also test people on how, yeah, they don't care about that at all anymore. That part of it is done. That part of it is done. Matt was not wrong for saying that. I think that it was poor gameplay, but I do not think that it was a aggressive threat. I think that was know your personnel type of conversation and kind of read the room and see what kind of person that Angela had been giving to that point and know that she's not going to be the one that's gonna. You needed to woo her. You needed to convince her in a different way. But in terms of it being wrong, no, I don't agree. Yeah, I don't agree either. I feel like Tucker right now. I don't know what that means. Matt was wrong for being so dramatic afterwards. Even that, like, it's not wrong to be dramatic. Like, that's a very opinionated statement. Like, you could like it, you could not like it, but I don't see that as a right or wrong type of thing. It just happened. We're on week 2 of the show, and that was like the biggest thing that happened on the show thus far. So, I don't know why you thought nobody would be talking about it when the show has been on for like, we're on episode 6 right now, so it's still going to be a topic. It's going to be a topic for a while. I hate to say it, but it is going to be a topic for a while. And then when she gets out of the house, it's still going to be a topic because they're going to ask her about it. I did. I'm trying to move on. The funny thing is, this was a minor footnote that I mentioned at the very beginning of this live. And then it became a topic because I'm reading the chats and you keep it going in the chats. I meant wrong for dramatic as in, oh, yeah, I agree with that. Bad gameplay. Yes. Matt didn't say anything that they all say every season. You put me, yeah, it's just regular gameplay to me. There are aggressive game players and there are like medium game players, and then there's people who sit in the background. So unfortunately, you can't be a week 1 person who's saying stuff like that, because that's, to me, that's just not good gameplay. But the reason it became this huge topic that you're telling us to move on from is because of Angela's calculated reaction to it, where she laid in bed at night and was like, I have to figure out how to make everybody hate Matt. I've got to make this dramatic scene in front of the house to make sure that nobody likes Matt so that I can ensure that he got out. Then they show the beginning of this episode. It's still part of this episode. I don't even know why I'm going this hard to explain it. Again, probably because there's not enough to talk about. But it was still part of this episode where they showed the flashback of last week. So it's actually a part of the recap of what's happening still. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you thought I'd be like, I'm going to skip that portion, but no, I'm going to talk about whatever is relevant at the moment. Hey, Chocolate. I thought that we was talking about this week, not last week. I thought that bridge was burned. Oh yeah, you're getting your pay docked for sure. You're getting that paycheck docked. Well, do me a favor. When the episode comes out for you and you watch the episode, come back and tell me if I am rehashing something that wasn't shown, or if I'm talking about a current topic that was shown at the beginning of the episode. You can tell me whether the math is mathing on what I'm saying. You didn't miss much, but apparently someone is bringing stuff from the past week. I'm learning that it's against the law. I'm learning that if something didn't just happen today, then you can't talk about it. Yes, please do. Please do. Ma's not here. I know she said she was watching, what is that show called? House of Dragons. That's right. One thing that I don't do is get on here and lie. That's something that I definitely don't do. D, how are you doing? Yeah, so to give like a super short summary of what I said earlier, I said that this episode to me was not that interesting. I was hoping that all the stuff that they were cutting out of the feeds, they were going to show at least some of that stuff in the episode, and they did not. You and I would have good conversations. I mean, I don't mind having any conversations. What did y'all think? What do you think of the episode? I was looking on Twitter to see if anything new was happening also, but it's like they're regurgitating all the same stuff. I saw that Lisa was having a conversation with Tucker. I mean, it was somewhat interesting. Lisa was telling Tucker that a lot of the things that bother the house guests about her is just her coming in and being herself and showing her personality, and everybody thinks that that's gameplay. She's trying to say those two things are not intertwined, and the thing is, they are kind of intertwined. I know what she's trying to do. I think that she's been doing a little too much. She's been coming on too strong. They definitely gave the Lisa's annoying edit today, for sure. They definitely gave the Lisa is annoying edit. But the visual effects of her bouncing the ball in the kitchen and stuff, and the glitter conversations and the cooking conversations with Tucker, they wanted us to feel like Lisa is annoying, and it worked because Lisa does look annoying based on what I've seen. Maybe, I guess Wednesday's episodes typically, I mean, last Wednesday they showed all the Angela stuff, so maybe they'll kind of make Wednesdays the episodes that are good, because this one was not. And I'm like, if the competition is not going to entertain me, at least make the house parts of it entertaining. Like, I feel like that Triple C alliance was made a long time ago. Like, I don't remember what day, but we've known about that Triple C alliance for several days at this point. And they're just showing it in the episode now. I'm like, wow. Throwback Sunday. Yeah, I would probably six might be, I might say like a 5. I might say like a 6. I mean, it's not the worst episode I've ever seen. I can live with a 6. Her glitter sprinkles and touching pillows with her fingers with essential oils. Yeah, she's doing the most. Quinn was in a good position. I mean, I'm not saying he's in a bad position, but I just wish he had not told Angela about his power. Tucker was hilarious. Finally got to see how the group came together. Oh yeah, and then I forgot to mention that the 5-person group that was after the core, they added the padding of Quinn and Brooklyn to call it the Pentagon. So yeah, I want to see a live HOH comp as well. They haven't been doing that. They haven't even been showing the start of the HOH comp. You know how they used to start the HOH comp during the live episode and then be like, tune in Sunday, at least we could see the start. They're not even doing that so far. This is the first thing you said today that I might be agreeing with. I'm not gonna lie to you, because the whole thing about taking away the rewinds, at first I was like, okay, well, I watched the season of live feeds when I was just watching it on my TV app, my Paramount Plus app on the TV, and you couldn't rewind on that app. I just found out last year that if you watch it on the computer, you can rewind. So I was like, it's not a big deal. But the reason it's a big deal is because you can't rewind, and they're cutting out so much. Like, they're cutting out so much as if this is like the Luke situation of last year. They're going heavy on the censoring. And I think they're going to lose fans that way because they go very heavy on the censoring. They're not showing a lot of the stuff in the episode. So what are we watching at this point? The thing that makes Big Brother like so much more appealing for some people than other shows is the fact that it's Big Brother, that you can actually look at them live. You take away the live aspects and it's a whole different show. I wouldn't know. I have a hard time with keeping up with the live feeds because of the fact that every time I try to turn them on, I watch 2 minutes of conversation and get a "we'll be right back" screen. So then I just get frustrated and just turn it off and try to catch up a little as much as I can on Twitter and Facebook. Oh, there you are, Ed. I just added you. If you had not joined my group on Facebook, I have a group called Big Brother Vibes. You can look it up on Facebook. It's a small group, but it is growing. And it's also a good way. I mean, I'm putting a little bit of content in there, but it's also a good way to communicate with me if you would like to, inbox me. I don't know. Like, I'm wondering to myself, are they only doing that for the first 4 weeks, like some of those powers, or is it going to be until jury? Like, that's the one part I don't know. And I hope that the AI arena is not like a Q&A, true, false type of thing this week. Make it something interesting. Make it something different. And they need to bring back missions. Remember America's Favorite? I liked America's Favorite. That was a fun thing when they had to do different missions. I'm disheartened with BB because of all the chances. This is why I'm so bitter. My apologies. It's not you at CBS. I mean, I get some of what you're saying. I mean, I get all of what you're saying because there's a lot of people who are like, I miss the old school Big Brother. And I understand that because my first season that I ever watched live was season 22. So that was already fairly late in the game. And then I went back and I watched like season 16, which is a classic to me. And then I watched season 10, and then I watched season 1. During the off season last year, I watched season 6. I might have missed out of the 26 seasons that are on so far. There's probably like 5 or 6 of them that I have not seen. But the ones that I have seen, I loved several of them. There's a few that I did not really like too much, but a lot of them were like really classic because it was more about gameplay. These are more game players, whereas this one is more safe and it's more political. The same thing has happened with my favorite competition show, which is The Challenge. And it's funny because these Big Brother players have shifted over to The Challenge, and the game became, well, I guess The Challenge, yeah, it's become a lot more tame than it used to be in ways that I don't like. I still like the show, but it's different. It's different than what I grew up on. Yeah, it's I said the same thing. This must be for the first 3 or 4 weeks, but who knows? Yeah. It's not the worst thing in the world though. Saboteur and Canada's Marsha Moose. Even when America can choose an extra food for have-nots. It's too early. Like, if I'm just thinking about the end of last season, then definitely I can say yes. but if you don't remember, we had huge alliance maps. We got big laughs, and it was really fun to watch that cast for the first month in that house. Like way more fun than this cast. I mean, eventually, yes. I got tired of the Jag and Matt show in the last however many weeks that was, but they began the show really interesting, and we were all saying, "Oh, this is so much better than BB24 when everything was centered around Taylor getting bullied." So you don't really know whether the season is going to be good or bad. Probably you have to be at least 5-6 weeks in before you can really say that. I love the challenge. Yeah, I'm gonna be sad once all my OGs are off the show, because yeah, I do like some of the new cast, but it's like Saved by the Bell, the new class. It'll never be the originals. Yeah, I agree, Edward. Except Edward and Mark. I need time also, because I've been let down. I've been let down by a season before. Like, just looking at that Big Brother 24 cast, I was like, this is an amazing cast. I'm like, the people on the show are really attractive. They're energetic. They're funny. They have varying backgrounds. I'm like, this is going to be so good. And then I was like, oh, goodness. This is not what I expected this season to turn into. All right, y'all. I'm going to be on here for a few more minutes, like five more minutes. This is already longer than I expected. So you all can actually thank Ramona, because if Ramona had not came in here and was like, I'm going to play the devil's advocate, I would have been off of here like 20 minutes ago, because I was ready to just do this 20-minute recap and jump off. So thank Ramona in the chat for giving me something to talk about. Yeah, it's like, that is traumatic to me. Thinking about Big Brother season 25, especially the last month or so in the house. Oh, from the time that Jared and Cam were back in there for that zombie week, from there on out, I was like, this is hard. I was getting messages every day of somebody else who watches my channel being like, I'm sorry, Mark, I tried, but I'm quitting the season. See you next year. I'm like, I wish I could quit, but because I am vlogging on the channel, I can't quit. But if I was just watching it as a fan, I would quit. I would tell them, I don't blame you. All right. So thanks everybody for jumping in here. This is a very active chat tonight. Unexpectedly so, because usually when I do these Sunday night recaps, they're usually very slow and not many people on them, because people don't like this Sunday night slot. But today, for some reason, everybody was here, or quite a few people were here for a Sunday night. I will be back for sure this week, Wednesday and Thursday. I don't have any obligations on Wednesday or Thursday that will prevent me from watching the episodes, thankfully, because the last couple Wednesdays and Thursdays, I've had things to do, and I have not been able to make it back in time to see the episodes, to do my recap. But my goal is to, at the very least, get in recaps during episode nights. So I would like to ideally get my recaps in on Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And don't worry, y'all, the show always picks up. The show always picks up. That's how I've known Big Brother to be since I've started watching. It starts slow or it starts fast, like last season. But this season has started a little slower, even though people are saying a lot is going on. There is a lot going on. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the most action-packed season I've ever seen to start. So it's kind of moving along, but I think that once we get a few more weeks under our belt, we might start seeing a little bit more strategic gameplay. I want to see how things go if or when those powers start being used. Like, I wonder if Mackenzie gets to week 4, even if she's not on the block, if she were to use that America's veto thing, if just because, or if somebody she doesn't want to go home is on the block, I wonder if she would use it, or I wonder if she would hold it because she would feel like people would turn on her. I wonder if Quinn is going to use that. What is it? Fake. I forgot what it's called. Fake HOH, whatever it's called. I wonder if he's going to use that. I like having the AI arena. I don't mind the AI arena where one of them gets off the block live. I suppose they can't make it anything that's going to take long, but I remember them doing live competitions that weren't long, that people won pretty quickly. But I remember last year they had an excessive amount of those true or false memory type things. And I remember that because Bowie Jane kept winning those. And I was like, oh, y'all got to stop with this. So I hope they do things that are more interesting on the competition side. All right, y'all. I've talked enough. Tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another work day, unfortunately. Unfortunately for me. Fortunately for those who like whatever they're doing. But I hope everybody has a good night. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Oh, before I go, I want to bring back the Mimi scale. Do I still have the Mimi pictures? I must have them here somewhere. This is where I have been at. Wait. Yes, this is where I've been at a lot of the times while watching the feeds. This is where I'm at with the feeds. Let me see. This is where I was on tonight's episode. I was thinking that I was not going to bring these back, but I'm going to run these back real quick. This is where I was when they were showing the Tucker Lisa beef. I think that's about it. I think that's about it on the Mimi scale. Let's see, what else do we got? What else do we got? This is what I'm thinking when people tell about their secret powers.
What sense does that make? The math is not mathing. Oh my God, Jesus. I know you were just way too stingy with the common sense. You needed to disperse it a little better because these people.
I feel like I missed by not showing her all this stuff when I saw her. I feel like that was a big miss. What were you thinking, Mark? Anyways, thank you all again for tuning in. I just lost my outro. I had my outro all queued up. Then I got distracted. I guess I could throw on another one. Here we go.
Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm sure I'll see you at one of these events again soon.
We've got Mark with the Mindful Reality podcast, who I've been a guest on, and it was a blast.
Thank you for having me, honestly, and I cannot wait to do it again. We're going to do this again in the future. I just know it. I just know it.
You are now tuned in to Mindful Reality, the channel that covers reality TV from a mental health perspective.
What's up, family? It's Mimi from Big Brother Season 25, and you are now tuned in to Mindful Reality with Mark. I need for y'all to stop what you're doing and make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe because the math ain't mathin', okay?